Okay, we'll open the meeting up with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we start any further, I want to recognize that we have 4 Daisy there'll be Girl Scouts, there'll be Brownies eventually, but right now they're Daisies, first graders, and they are earning their government badge. And they were interviewing the mayor when I came, and they had very good questions, and they're here observing our meeting. So we want to welcome the Daisies, 3 of the Schaefer students and 1 St. Ephraim student from first grade. Schubel. That's right. Stand up, girl. They're very tall for first grade. Okay. Public comment is there on the agenda items. We will have an opportunity to speak as each agenda item comes up. Mr. Pizzo, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do, Mr. Knowles. Regrettably, Michael McGinnis, counsel for items 5 and 6 on this evening's agenda, is ill and was unable to attend tonight's meeting. As a result, his clients have asked to have their respective applications tabled to the council meeting of March 28, 2022. So first, item number 5, Johnson Development. Again, we've received a written request from Mr. McGinnis's office requesting that item 5 be tabled to a date certain of March 28, 2022. The applicant has granted the township the necessary extensions of time under the municipality's planning code for the township's consideration of that application.
I'll make a motion that we approve moving it to 3/28.
Second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, so that's done. Anyone else, Joe?
And then similarly, item number 6, which is an application for land development for Chick-fil-A on Horizon Boulevard. Again, due to Mr. McGinnis's inability to be here this evening, they're requesting that the item be tabled to a date certain of March 28, 2022.
Okay.
Not moving Chick-fil-A back.
Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay, is a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the 5th and the 6th is moved. Okay, and then we do have a resolution in reference to our soccer field revitalization for a grant that has to be in tomorrow, and we wanted to move that grant to make it 3A so we can handle that quickly before we start with the other agenda items. Is there a motion to add that to the agenda? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, so we have Michelle and Stacy. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, so we have a resolution for a grant that could be possibly up to $1 million to improve our soccer field. I believe at the Fireman's Field, First Responders Field. John, do you have this?
I do, sir. So thank you very much. So the township was presented with a grant opportunity to submit to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for up to $1 million for the soccer revitalization up at First Responders Field, the old German-Hungarian or trifecta property on Bristol Road. This resolution in front of you provides authorization for township representatives to sign the application and agreements with the Commonwealth should we be awarded the grant. So I'm here if you have any questions to answer.
Got to try, right?
Got to try for it, right?
Is there any questions from any of the council members?
How long does it usually take for you to hear back?
So it depends on the Commonwealth itself. We probably wouldn't hear back till the fall, but it could be earlier. With the application process ending very quickly right now, we could possibly hear by the summer, but it really depends on the Commonwealth. It depends on the amount of applications that they receive as well as how much they have to weigh out.
So we're in competition with other municipalities, depending on what their needs are versus ours, is that?
Correct,
Yes,
yes.
that's it.
What their requests are.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the resolution to give the township permission to apply for this?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
John, good luck.
Good night, John.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, next on the agenda is our what's that?
Council minutes.
Yeah, I'm doing three. Three. Okay, next on the agenda is, number 3 is making a discussion and just making a decision in reference to the township auditor that we accepted the resignation at our last meeting, Mr. Wild, and we had waited for a certain amount of time for applicants. Okay, so I see that there's an applicant for Emmanuel Jones to be accepted as our township auditor. Does anybody else have any candidates or someone they would like to discuss? Okay, and you do have Emmanuel's resume in front of you. Okay, so does someone want to make a motion that we accept appointing township
I'll
auditor?
put the motion on the floor, then we review and, I thought it was on, review and accept the application of Emmanuel Jones, for the position of auditor of Bensalem Township.
I
For this-
second. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
For the 4-year term, 2022 to 2020, whatever happens in 4 years.
Well, it will actually be,
Was that a fill-in spot?
the term will be until the next municipal election
Okay.
Okay.
I
in
understand.
2023.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, I forgot
Okay.
about that. You're absolutely correct.
They'd be required to run if you wanted to maintain. it.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Okay.
he'll finish it out till the next election, and then they'll have to run at that point. Okay, so is all in favor of appointing Emmanuel Jones to replace Mr. Wild as our township auditor till the next election? There was a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay. Mr. Mayor, are you prepared to swear in?
Absolutely.
Is Mr. You're such a little guy, Mr. Jones, I hardly could, I didn't see you over there. Sorry.
This is your sister, right, Manny?
This is my mother.
Okay.
Really? Oh, my goodness.
Raise your right hand. I, Emmanuel Jones, Manny Jones,
I, Emmanuel Manny Jones,
Egan Court, Bensalem,
Egan Court, Bensalem,
do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear I will support and obey the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge my duties
and I will discharge my duties
of my office as Township Auditor
as my office as Township Auditor
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good job, buddy.
So you can't use this. I'm sorry. I have one.
Great job, man. He's very involved in our community. He deserves it.
Congratulations, Manny. Mr. Knowles, as you pointed out, at the last council meeting, the resignation of Mr. Wild was accepted by the council. At council's direction, the vacancy was placed, an ad was placed in Bucks County Courier-Times, was also placed on the township social media and webpage. Mr. Jones responded and obviously is eminently qualified. So record should reflect all of that as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is you had quite a crowd there left with Manny there, but the next on the agenda is approval of council meeting minutes for the February 14th Valentine meeting. Okay, is there any changes to the minutes for February 14th that anybody would like to bring forward?
I'll put a motion that we accept the minutes as
Okay,
delivered to us.
Second?
and there's a second. Stacy has a second. Mr. Kissback's the first. All in favor of accepting the minutes for the 14th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, so the minutes are accepted. Okay, and if you just joined us, number 5 on the agenda, the Johnson Development, the warehouse development off of State Road, 2600 State Road, has been moved to March 28th, a date certain of March 28th, our next meeting. And then number 6 on the agenda was the Chick-fil-A changes, and that's also moved to March 28th, 2022. Okay, next on the agenda is preliminary and final subdivision for Charles Wolk. 1430 Lavender Road. I don't see, I can see Charles' son, right?
Yeah, Jason Wolk.
Yeah.
Larry Byrne, the engineer.
Okay.
Do I have to put the drawings into the computer to show on the screen, or you want to just use the board here?
You can
On the
do the
computer?
screen, yeah.
Okay. Just give me a second.
Oh.
That's what you want, right? Did you not sign the one I told you?
No, I don't know.
I gave you one.
I signed the one I found.
Oh, was I supposed to sign something I had at my table? Supposed to sign this?
No. Oh, I did with this one. Oh, there it is.
I knew I wasn't crazy. Well, I'm crazy, but I've been.
That's besides the point.
Okay, all right. All right, well, good evening. My name is Larry Byrne. I'm the engineer prepared the plan for Charles Wolk. With me this evening is Jason Wolk, the son of Chuck. And you have this is the required notifications. Okay. What we have before us this evening is a 4-lot subdivision located at 1430 Lavender Road. It's, I put up the aerial to show the surrounding area with the proposed subdivision. It's basically a four-lot subdivision, rectangular parcel into 4 smaller rectangular parcels. It's fairly straightforward. And we did originally submitted the plan to the township. You know, last year, we went to the planning commission, we revised the plan per the planning commission, went back to the planning commission and received the recommendation for approval. That was back late last year. And we're here this evening with the council just requesting the, preliminary final approval of this subdivision. We did just receive a couple recent comment letters from the township T&M Associates, their engineer, and then also some comments from traffic planning and design, the, I guess, new engineer. So with that, I really didn't plan on going through all the letters or anything like that. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Well, if you, just to clarify, you didn't need any variances, right? Because these are pretty good-sized lots, right?
Correct, yeah, there's no zoning issues at all.
Right.
It's basically, it's a by right plan.
Okay.
There is one waiver, I guess it's a waiver regarding the sidewalk.
Okay, so if you do, if you look at the letter from T&M
Right.
dated March 9th, okay?
Correct.
Under Subdivision Land Development Ordinance, okay? So all zoning comments have been addressed. All the zoning comments have been addressed. All these will comply, except you're saying you want one.
Correct.
Where's the waiver?
Well, there's one, well, I guess, as I said, it's regarding the sidewalks. It's comment number 23 about the sidewalks. There was some discussion with the planning commission and the owner. He was willing to put in the sidewalks, but since there's no sidewalks in that neighborhood, township felt it best to have a waiver and like a fee in lieu of, so.
Yeah, there are no sidewalks there, but normally it's sidewalks and curbs, so if we did give a waiver, it would be a waiver for sidewalks and curbs.
Right, well, no, we are doing the curb, we're proposing curb and the widening of the road, but we're just not putting in the sidewalks.
Okay, is that correct?
Yes, in my review of the T&M comments, that the curbs are going in, there's a very, very mild drainage cleanup associated with that, and they have put in, requested a waiver for the sidewalks for a fee in lieu of.
Okay, so.
Everything else is satisfactory.
And it's okay to put curb, I mean, I'm not against curbs or anything, but I mean, is it okay to put curbs along, what would it be, High Avenue?
Well,
and,
it would be around all sides, it would be around
Eddington?
Lavender, here, along this is Eddington.
Yeah.
Lavender, and then Hyde.
Okay.
So there
It's
would
a
be.
good idea to do that because
Yeah.
it'll help move the stormwater, so.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're putting in, like I said, it's a minor widening of the road and then the curb.
Okay, and then you're asking for a waiver for the sidewalks, but
Correct.
But you understand that there's a fee in lieu of. Okay,
Correct.
and then on number 5, I just wanted to point out, there's a 2,000 per lot recreation fee that you're aware of, right?
Yes, yeah, the fees, and I believe there's also some traffic fees too that.
Yeah, there's a
Impact
impact fee.
when they apply for permits.
Yep, and you apply for burns. So that would be the only one. Everything else is a will comply.
Yes.
Okay, is there any questions from any of the other council people in reference to this plan? Pretty straightforward, yeah. It's been sitting there for years and years, so.
Yeah, it's-
Now, did you destroy, not destroy, did you level the house that was there already, or is that still standing?
Yes,
Yeah, the house is done.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought I went by it, and it said here you were going to demolish it, but it looks like it is.
right now.
Yeah, it was in bad shape, yeah, so it's,
the
okay.
roof was actually collapsed in the house.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But do you have any, you don't have any problems with any of these will complies, right, along here? Okay. Okay, so if there's no questions from any of the council members, is there anybody from the audience that wanted to speak for or against this project? Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, seeing no one come forward, we'll close public comment. Does someone want to put a motion forward to accept Mr. Welk's? I'm sorry, it's Welk, right? That's what you're saying. I've known your brothers all my life, and I couldn't say the name properly.
I'll make the motion. Okay, so,
I hung around Larry, I think. He's got Uncle Larry, right? Yeah. Okay, is there a motion? Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the preliminary and final revised subdivision for 1430 Lavender Road, tax parcel 02-032-185, presented to us today.
Okay,
What?
and then you're gonna say that we're waiving sidewalks and
Oh,
they're
I'm
gonna
sorry.
pay in lieu of?
We're waiving sidewalks and you'll pay in lieu of.
Okay, and the curbs are being
And the curbs will
installed.
be added with the
Installed.
road widening as well, on
Okay.
all three perimeters.
Okay, is there anything else, Mr. Pizzo, should be added to that?
The applicant
recording.
will,
In compliance with the township engineer's letters,
Gonna add to
right?
the applicant will comply with all items contained in the T&M review letter of March 9, 2022, the TPD review letter of March 8, 2022, and all other review letters issued by the township regarding this application. As Ms. Benitez noted, waiver has been granted from sidewalks on the condition that the applicant will pay a fee in lieu of, and the applicant will provide deeds for the 4 newly created lots to the township for the review and approval by the township engineer and township solicitor, and those deeds will be recorded before or at the time of the recording of the record plan for the subdivision.
And you had mentioned that you're willing to pay the impact fee as determined by our impact advisory board, or it's been
Yes.
estimated.
$1,700.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you, Michelle. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Polari, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
good luck.
This should all be so easy, right?
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
Well, that was a big piece of ground. It was sitting there for years.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is number 8, consideration preliminary and final land development for Presto Tape, 1766 Winchester Road, light industrial, tax number 24521.
Good evening. Douglas Maloney, representing Presto Tape. I am filling in for Mr. McGinnis, who, as you've heard, is genuinely ill. I spoke to him a couple times today. I can assure you, he would probably rather be here than where he is. All of Mr. McGinnis's clients were provided with the option of either going forward tonight with me or continuing it for 2 weeks with Mr. McGinnis. And 2 of the 3 clients that Mr. McGinnis had are going to be on the agenda in 2 weeks. So Presto Tape, fortunately, decided to go forward tonight. This is a very simple application. Presto Tape is located at 1766 Winchester Road and on the adjoining property of 1574 Bridgewater Road. 2 buildings, but they're actually joined at this point. And it's in an industrial area. It's zoned LI. They have their existing building is about 64,000 square feet, and they're proposing to add about 9,400 square feet, which will be devoted to storage, so that they can accommodate and service a new product that they're going to be producing. Presto Tape, as you can imagine, is in the tape manufacturing business, and I was looking on their website today, and they manufacture a wide variety of not just tapes, including like the blue painter's tape that you see, but a variety of film products and things. So they have a really wide variety of manufactured products, and then they ship from the facility. As a result of this new product line, they're going to increase their staff from about 38 to 50. They have adequate parking on the site as is. They have 57 parking stalls, and they only require 50. So, and the 9,400 square feet is going to be entirely to the rear of 1766 Winchester, and is entirely on impervious surface. So it's a fairly simple application from a land development standpoint. I'll go over the review letters very quickly, and then Mr. Spini, who's the president and owner of Presto Tape, would like to describe his company, because it's really an interesting business model that they have, and I think you'll be as proud to have them in Bensalem Township as we are to represent Presto Tape. So I'd like him to describe this after we go through the land development letters. We have 2 land development review letters, both dated February 4th. I'll deal with the civil engineering land development letter first, and on page 3 are the subdivision and land development ordinance comments. The applicant received a series of dimensional variances at the zoning hearing board at its August 2021 meeting, and they are summarized on page 2 of the review letter. The subdivision and land development ordinance comments on page 3. Number 1 is a will comply that requires
Okay.
a soils map.
Mr.
and-
Maloney, the letter I have is February 4th. Is that the letter you're
Yes,
dealing with? Okay.
yes.
So all the zoning, as you just to reiterate, all the zoning things.
Zoning comments deal with variances
They
that
were
were
all
previously.
approved by the zoning board, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're on page 3.
And on page 3, the subdivision land development
Right.
ordinance comments, number 1 is a will comply, requires a soils map. Number 2 requires a lighting plan. We're not proposing any additional parking lot lighting. There's one light in an emergency door at the rear, so we will satisfy the township engineer with regard to our lighting plan. Number 3.
So that's a will comply then, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Number 3 deals with environmental protection and open space. A and C are will complies to the satisfaction of the township engineer. B deals with evergreen planting screen and for buffer yards. Buffer yards was one of the variances that was granted, so that's not applicable. But A and C are will complies.
Okay.
Number 4 deals with the requirements for curbs and sidewalks. We're requesting a waiver and agreeing to a fee in lieu of if the curb and sidewalk waiver is granted. The stormwater management ordinance comments are will comply. And that's it for the subdivision and land development comments. We have a TPD review letter also dated February 4th of 2022, which has general plan comments and some recommendations with regard to plan revisions. We will comply with those to the satisfaction of the township engineer. Some of those require just sitting down and going over the parking layout and that type of thing. So all those comments are relatively minor comments. Comment number 1, I should say, is a traffic impact fee comment, and that is a will comply. We will pay the traffic impact fee, which is estimated in this letter.
I just want, Joe, before we get started, I just wanted to say, I was able to go for a tour of the complex and what they're doing there. It was like a family atmosphere when you walked in. Everybody was friendly. The place was clean as clean could be. It was just impressive to me to know that we have a company in Bensalem that has that, and also Christian values that they have there also, and the things they do for their employees. It's just phenomenal to have that kind of a company here in Bensalem. And I have to say, I was very proud of it, and it was a fantastic walkthrough for me.
When I heard how they treat their employees, I asked them if they had any openings. Yes.
Yeah, President.
Rich Spini, the president of and owner of Presto Tape, he'd like to describe briefly the business model that they follow, and he has a video that he'd like to show you as well. Sure. Rich?
Yeah, I mean, our business is very simple. We put adhesive on polyethylene film. So when you buy a new refrigerator, you pull that film off. You might be in a new construction and see it all over the carpet, or a lot of times you'll see blue film on the outside of a building as it's being constructed. Pretty simple business, not overly exciting, honestly. But when the business employs 50 people and 50 families, and it feeds them and feeds other people, that gets very exciting. And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And we have a very specific vision that Tom, myself, and 9 other people in the company spent 3 or 4 months creating about 5 years ago. And the company lives out that vision every day, and we have a very good morale within the company, and very good cooperation from everybody, and we've been very successful and very profitable, and we're able to use those profits for good things. And so that's why we're expanding the building, because the business is expanding. We're renting space in Philadelphia right now, and we have a truck going back and forth, and it's very time consuming and inefficient. We want to be able to have those products in our building so we don't have to go back and forth all day. So don't want to take up a ton of your time, and I feel a little awkward even showing a lot of this stuff, but I know you want to see it, and, but we put together a quick little video, it's only 2 minutes, that sort of explains what our vision is and pretty much what we do 24 hours a day. Hopefully that can get. At Presto Tape, our vision is at the core of everything we do and every decision that we make. We created a picture to show our vision, and what it says is that we will innovate and we will demand excellence. We will never stop trying to find ways to make our products better, quicker, more efficient, and find ways to make new and improved products for our customers, and we will hold ourselves to a high level of excellence. And when we do that, we will form a strong team and a solid core of people, and that team will grow, and that growth will generate profit. We will take that profit and we will fill up this cup. What the cup represents is all the team members here at Presto Tape, as well as the 10 owners and investors in Presto. And ways that we fill that cup certainly are with our aggressive profit-sharing bonus program that we have. But there's much more to filling that cup than just bonuses and profit-sharing checks. We want to do things that are going to help our employees and owners outside of Presto with their personal finance, with their health and wellness, with their marriages, their families, anything we can do to improve the quality of life of our employees, and that's what's represented by this cup. And when we continue to innovate and excel, and that cup just has so much that it overflows, then we will take a significant portion of our profit and donate it outside the four walls of Presto. The ways that we are doing that, we have charity partners that we deal with. Learn for Life is an organization in Haiti. We fund the entire high school, all the teachers, all the books and supplies that they need for that high school. We've also purchased a machine that will make bricks for that organization that makes enough bricks in a day to build an entire house in Haiti. We partner with Hope International. They're an organization that lends money to folks around the world. Gives them the opportunity to buy a sewing machine or to buy a welding machine and create a job or a business where they can sustain themselves ongoing. It's not just a one-time gift. And most recently, we're in the process right now of building a full water filtration system in Rwanda through an organization called Charity Water. Once that filtration system is done, that will provide clean drinking water for a community of 850 people, and that water will be available for the rest of their lives. Again, it's not just a one-time gift. It's something that will last forever, and we hope to start drilling more wells and building more filtration systems in the coming months. That's our vision. That's what drives us and motivates us to come to work every day. So that's pretty much what we do.
You forgot something.
What did I forget?
Eagles Road.
Oh, yeah, we're big Eagles fans, season tickets, so we give all the tickets out to the employees and their families, and the only thing we ask in return is they have to take pictures of their families while they're at the game, and we have our whole lunchroom scattered with pictures of all their families over all the years.
Nice.
And another cool thing we actually just did a couple weekends ago is we offer what's called a weekend getaway for our employees and their spouses. It's sponsored by Family Life Ministries. It's kind of a marriage council weekend, so the only thing we ask is that they go to the classes. But it's at the Hershey Lodge, and it's a fun weekend, and 7 employees and their spouses went 2 or 3 weekends ago. And it was just really cool. You know, a couple people said, hey, thanks, we had a great weekend, but 2 or 3 people literally pulled me aside, almost in tears, telling me that, you know, their marriages were in jeopardy, and it was just a great week, and just cool stuff. So that's what we do.
Makes a difference.
That's great work. It's great work.
We
Phil,
have a couple of photos of the facility, if you'd like to see a couple of those also. It's,
okay, yeah, sure, I wouldn't mind seeing them. If you could,
We have them on here?
yeah.
Do you have them on there?
it says photos, Rich.
Oh, yeah, here's our Eagles in our cafe. That's one picture.
That's our employee cafeteria. So when our employees take a break, that's where they get to go. It's a little bit like a Starbucks.
Yep, we bring in all fresh fruit and cereals and milks, juices, everything's free for the employees. Trying to promote a healthier lifestyle. A lot of the guys on the floor don't have a lot of knowledge about healthy food, so it's a challenge trying to get them to eat nice. Just again, trying to figure out ways that, you know, what causes stress in our employees' lives. And, you know, there's not a day that goes by where an employee isn't, their spouse's car's broke down or their car's broke down and they can't get to work, or their spouse can't get to work or can't get the kids into school. So we bought this car a couple years ago, and we're in the graphics business, and we decorated it all up. Maybe you've seen it around town. It's strictly for personal use. It's not for business use. It has a roof rack, a 7-seat. Employees take it to the shore for the weekend. They take it when their spouse's car is broke down. It's just for the employees to use for their personal use. This is a brand-new coating line that we just put in this year. We built this completely by ourselves. Tom headed up this whole project. It's unbelievable that we were able to put this thing together in 9 months, strictly on our own, with the shortage of supply and things. That's going to give us a tremendous amount of capacity to grow the business, which is another reason why we need the space. This is kind of our Presto in action wall. We have 4 quick little things. We have a care team that we created that has a part-time employee where her sole function is to basically take care of the employees. Find out what's going on when they have problems at home, babysitters, or whatever they need. We try and help them outside the company. And we have 4 people that are on that committee from the company. They meet monthly and go over how they can help. We have a core values that we have, and we have a core value award that we take very serious, and employees vote on that every year to see who exemplifies our core values the best. And then the local and international are just examples of all the charity work that you saw. Some of it in the video, a lot of the local stuff you didn't see in the video. But during COVID, we put together gift baskets and cards and packages for 3 different hospitals, nurses, for the Bensalem Police, for the Bensalem Fire. So that went over very, very well. I certainly opened my eyes to how stressed out the police were about the way they're being treated and how hard they work, and the risk that they put themselves under. So they were just so touched by what we did for them. We did a whole construction in the office. We turned a pretty old-looking junky building into a really, really nice place if anybody wants to come by. There's a picture of our facility with our core values and our vision. We have it on all our shirts and everything that we do. There's just a picture of the water filtration system that we're building. It's getting very close to completion. We're hoping about another 2-3 months that's going to be done. And again, just maybe it's my entrepreneurial spirit, but all the giving that we do is all built around things that are going to last forever, that are going to sort of affect people's lives going forward. The water is going to provide water for the rest of their lives. The loans that we do are loans that allow people to buy a welding machine or a sewing machine so that they can create a job for themselves and sustain a living for themselves. And believe it or not, 98% of those loans get paid back. So now a person has a welding machine, he has a job, he pays the money back, then it gets relent to somebody else, and it's kind of the gift that keeps giving. So a lot of really, really cool stuff going on, and we hope that we have a lot more things to do in the future.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your work. Phil, do you don't have any issues with this, any of these letters? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, so is there any questions from any of the council people in reference to this?
No, I'll just make a comment.
Preliminary
I'd like to say
filing.
God bless you and your mission and what you do for the not only the community, but the world.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's with your Christian beliefs, is that correct?
Yeah.
You didn't mention that too much, but I think was
Yeah.
intimated.
Yep.
All right.
Yep,
So you're
I'll
living
do.
the life.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the building looks very nice. I live over that way.
Oh,
so,
good, thanks.
Yes, so good to see it. I was like, oh, wow, that looks nice.
Started out as a medium project, and it kind of just grew as we kept getting into it, as most projects do.
Oh,
I can't imagine if anybody would be against it, but is there anybody that wants to speak for or against this project? Seeing no one come forward. Is there, you never know.
Here comes Satan.
Does anybody want to make a motion that we accept to consider a preliminary and final land development for this outstanding company here in Bensalem?
I'll put a motion on the floor then, Mr. President, that we accept the preliminary and final land development for Presto Tape. Attention, Tom Godonis, is that correct? 1766
Yeah.
Winchester Avenue.
Yes, sir.
And the address is, the tax map parcel is 02-045-021. And regarding the cover page, all the zoning, the engineering review, and the Bucks County Planning Commission, they were all addressed. There are no variances that are needed to be put in place. And when it comes to subdivision and land development, The applicant will comply with everything that's needed, except that we would ask that a variance was granted for 3B, which is the buffer yards would require, and an evergreen planting screen shall be used to provide an adequate visual barrier, and that has been already granted as a variance. And I would also like to ask that we would grant a waiver for section, God bless you, 4, and that's regarding the curbs and sidewalks, and the applicant will give us a fee in lieu of, and the applicant will also comply with any impact fees that are, I don't know if it was already addressed. or
Yeah, it was
determined at this
estimated, yeah.
point. So the applicant will comply with the impact fee that has been determined by the impact fee committee, and that's my motion.
I'll second.
Okay, and there's a second by Mr. Polari. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any against? Okay, congratulations, and thanks for all the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
God bless you, no, good, great job.
Thank you.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Okay, number 9 on the agenda is the resolution in reference to the, which is pretty standard, the Sewage Facilities Act in reference to St. Catherine Drexel's development for the sewer. Mr. Pizzo, do you have this, or?
I do, Mr. Knowles. As you stated, this is a resolution that the township is routinely asked to approve from time to time for those projects that you have approved that require an amendment to the Township's Act 537 plan. One such project is, as you stated, the St. Catherine Drexel project. The developer encountered a time issue with the submission of the 537 resolution. They've been required to construct some off-site sewer facilities, and as a result, in order to get things processed in a timely fashion, in this instance, we were asked if we could and would to approve the resolution prior to this evening's meeting so that it could be submitted to DEP. As a result, the Director of Building and Planning, I believe, contacted each of you, got your concurrence to having Secretary Polari sign the resolution back on March 3rd so that it could be submitted to DEP. In order for that to, of course, be effective, requires a ratification vote of the council at this time. So if council is of a mind, consistent with your direction to the Director of Building and Planning on March 3rd, a motion would be in order to ratify the execution of the Act 537 resolution for St. Catherine Drexel.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any against? Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Certainly.
Ratification.
Okay, we have some escrow releases here. Number 10, Spadero, I guess, release. Spaduto, sorry. 901 Tennis Avenue, 2-29-300 and 2-29-301. And the amount to be released is $192,262.64, which remains $108,152.90. Do you have this, Phil, or?
I do. I was just going to cut through, Mr. President, and say that we received we have three escrow releases in front of you, 10A, 10B, and 10C. As you mentioned, the first one is Sperduto, 901 Tennis Avenue. That is going to be for escrow. We're recommending an escrow release of $192,262.64. The second one is number B, and that is the escrow release number 7
for Samarpan Hindu Temple, 2746 Mechanicsville Road. This escrow release will be for $275,962.70. And the third one is a revised one today. There was a small typo. That one is for Bensalem MZL LLC on 1837 Street Road. And that escrow release, we're recommending $45,874 with a remaining balance of $32,785.
Okay, and you see, you feel that you have enough money for them to properly complete the rest of the work that would need to be done?
Yes, we do. And also, I'll point out one line item that we have in each one is that this audit will, that this is subject to the Finance Department audit, which takes about 30 days to make sure that there's nothing that's cropped up in the intervening time.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so let's do these one at a time. So we have, how do you say that? Sperduto. Sperduto, release one, revised. Okay, is there any questions in reference to the 10A? If not, is there a motion to approve this release?
So moved, subject to audit by the Finance Department.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any against? I'm an aye. Okay, thank you. Okay, 10B, the Hindu Temple on Mechanicsville Road. Looks like a pretty large amount remaining. Is that close to being done, Phil? It looks like it's almost done from the outside. I guess that still has a lot of work left, right?
Doesn't look like it's done to me.
Well, I think it's, Quentin, do you have any comment with regard to that, if you want to chime in on the construction element?
They got a long ways to go inside.
Oh, do they? On the inside?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just driving by.
Yeah, I was in there, they got a ways to go.
I was just going to say the same thing. Most of the work's on the inside that they have to still do.
Yeah,
But
yes.
Mary jumped in there and forgot me, so.
Okay, well, that's good. We have plenty of money, it looks like. Okay, so we still have 488,000, almost 489,000.
In there for a minute, 'cause I have one for you.
Okay, is there any questions in reference to this release that they have for Quentin or Phil? Okay, is there a motion for this release of $275,962.70 for the Hindu Temple on Mechanicsville Road?
Motion to approve release of escrow funds in the amount of $275,962.70 for the Samarpan Hindu Temple.
Subject to an audit by the
Subject to
finance.
an audit by the Finance Department.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Stacy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay. Okay, escrow number 3, or C, is Bensalem NZL LLC, 1837 Street Road, tax number 243305 and 243305-1. Release is $45,874, which leaves us with $32,785. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Phil or for Quentin in reference to this release? Okay, if not, does someone make a motion to approve this release of escrow?
So moved.
So moved, is there, subject to the audit by the Finance Department? Okay, so moved, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that's good.
Is that the Story Center?
No,
I think the first one was, oh, that's the Amazon, okay. Okay. Is there any indication when that's going to, Quentin, could you come up for a second? Since I found out it's the Amazon market, I wanted to have a question.
I'm not sure when they're planning on moving in.
Yeah,
So.
okay. And Mr. Blair, you have a question for him? Quentin?
The Popley's property down there, when's the third one to be moved?
Last communication I have with the location up in Falls Township, where we sent them all the paperwork that we have for documentation on the soils. I've not yet heard back. I did put a call into them on Friday, so.
Okay, let's get
Still staying on
that, let's
top
get
of it.
that done, please.
From conversation I had earlier in the week with the representative, I forget what his name is, where he's from, but he's the one managing the project. They were going to come down, take a look at the pile. One of the things that I did locate in the township's files was the certification of the soils to make sure it was clean and not contaminated. And that's one of the things they needed. We thought we had to get that tested, so that's all, paperwork was all done with them. We're just waiting to hear back so we can start hauling, so. we're close.
Thank you.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yeah, well, let's, okay,
I have a question for Quentin.
that's,
Wait.
okay, you can go.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
No, because we have other business, so I guess you're going to stick around, right? You're not
I'm
going
here.
anywhere, right? All right, so let's do, we'll do that with other business. Is public comment, does anybody have any public comments that they would like to make? Yeah, you come up and identify yourself, and then,
Hi, my name is Natasha Bika. I live at 2047 Hansel Drive. So, after the last meeting, I swore I'd never come here again. That meeting was heartbreaking, to say the least. But I'm a better person than that. I can guarantee I'm driven and persistent, especially when it comes to injustices, especially when it affects my backyard. So here I am. Just wanted to make sure that the people of Hansel Drive were not forgotten. Honestly, that's exactly what it's felt like the past few months. It seems like the township got what they wanted, but at the cost of the homes on Hansel Drive. I've been told many times that Hansel Drive is special. I don't feel special at all. But that we are the scum of Bensalem, to be honest with you. We have come to the township with multiple concerns and issues. All have gone on deaf ears. I myself have brought to the attention of the council the retention pond overgrowth, which now is starting to put in jeopardy my own fence line. Our electric lines have been in danger for years, and all it takes is one little bird to land on it, land on the transformer, and we lose power for hours. I do have pictures of my fence line that I can pass around. Yep. There's multiple different pictures, yeah, because it goes along my entire fence line.
What are we going to see with the fence line, since the general public understands what's happening?
Our fence abates the retention pond that sits on the Armstrong property. Unfortunately, that retention pond has not been cleaned out. And what is happening is that overgrowth for many years now. We've lived in that house for 2 years, and actually, when we moved in October, we had a company come out to clean it because we didn't even know where our fence line was. It's been 2 years, and that growth continues to grow over our fence and now through our fence, and it's actually pushing our fence inward, damaging our fence. As many of you know, we've now spent $100,000 on rebuilding our home from that storm. I cannot afford more money to put up another fence and to fix it. And it's my understanding that whatever that property owner does or does not do, if it affects my property, it's my responsibility, correct? Correct? Right, it comes out of my pocket. It doesn't come out of my insurance company. It comes out of my own pocket. Yep. So the pictures that I have in front of you are just things that are growing through my fence, literally. In fact, I want to say about 1.5 years ago, I caught poison oak from trying to clear up that fence line to maintain it. So, despite the fact that you have allowed for development at 4020 Mechanicsville to have a 200-foot buffer yard, this was discussed in the February 14th meeting when they were building single homes, yet the special people of Hansel Drive had to settle for 75 feet due to an amendment that you absolutely had no dispute against. Most likely because this doesn't affect you and the gas station isn't being built on your backyard. To reiterate, the space the Armstrong property sits on is not as big as either you or the current property owner think it is. And just to give you an example, our alarm system has a setting where if I leave my house, once I get a certain footage away from it, it automatically turns on. If we stand at the Kohl's parking lot, that camera system is off because it believes that we are home. That just goes to show you how much space is there. So you want to put, I don't know, what's it, 4 to 5 buildings between my property line and Kohl's? Doesn't seem like a lot. So, yeah, between our property line and Coles, there will be approximately 3 to 4 buildings being built. Just a little perspective on the space that you have actually given them. This is also why they fought to get an extra 25 feet. 25 feet is what 25 feet to me is a lot, because that's from my back, that's my fence line right there. But, I mean, if they have 30 acres and they're worried about 25 feet, whatever. It should have set alarms in your heads that he was trying to get the 25 feet despite all this land that he has and wants to develop on. Regardless, what's done is done, and once again, the council and some of its previous members have stuck it to the people of Hansel Drive. We are 9 months out of the storm that changed our lives forever, and we are still trying to rebuild. I mentioned this before, but I will remind everyone that words mean nothing unless actions follow. I have yet to see any action from the council that would address any of our concerns, not one single concern. And my biggest question, again, is where are we in trying to have him or make him clean out this retention pond?
Yeah, we'll have to see about that, get that done. Is it,
Quentin has the answer.
Quentin, do you know?
We've been discussing that.
In the last 3 weeks, taking pictures, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I have had them going out there trying to figure out what we can get done on a quick note. So why don't you address it, Quentin, rather than me?
So I'm with the engineering department for the township. I've been working with the director of building and planning. I guess it was a couple weeks ago, I actually went through the wooded area trying to see what was going on. There was a couple areas of clogs in the swale, I guess, behind. I'm not sure exactly where you're at, but I'm assuming you're on the opposite side of the pipe system, or?
The pipe actually runs between our house
And the
and
neighbor?
our next door neighbor, yeah.
And the neighbor is closest to the street road? So I know which house is yours.
So he is closest to Street
Okay.
Road. I mean, we're not that
So-
far, we're about,
Right, but I'm just trying to, because I came in through the back. So if I'm looking at the pipes, you're on the left side from Armstrong.
correct, yep.
So what we did was we walked all the way through that overgrowth, all the way to the very far side of Hansel Drive. Took some pictures. I have to double check with building and planning because I'm not sure what their status is, but they were sending out a citation notice to the owner to have everything cut down. One of the things we're going to be working with is as soon as this gets cut down, we're going to be going through the system itself with our road department, make sure the pipes are all cleaned. The last time we did go through there was before the land development was approved. So at that time, everything was clean. We did see on Friday, we went through again because of the rain. We went through there, we saw, at Wendy's, we saw a little bit of an obstruction. We have not got into that yet, so we're gonna try and get in there to see if there's anything in there that's slowing the water down. We're not sure, there was nothing there the previous time we went through, so we're not sure of what's going on. So we're gonna be checking that out as well.
all right, my concern is that spring's around the corner, right? I don't know how long these orders take or whatever, but we need this done ASAP. I cannot risk more damage done to my property.
I understand.
My second question, since you're here, is that pipe that we're talking about, has anybody walked through that?
Yeah, well, crawled.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really walk,
Right.
but have you seen the integrity of it? Because there's water running in certain places that never used to run before.
Inside the system or outside?
I don't know about inside the system, I don't go in there, I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't like dark spaces.
Well, it's the
but-
same. From what I wasn't personally through the entire system. I was at one end, somebody else was going through. There was no issues that were found as far as I know. So if there's an issue, I can meet with you, you can show me what's going on the exterior.
I mean, I can just give you something. We just spent $14,000 on waterproofing our house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was found that there's water running under our house. That pipe is supposed to contain that stream that was supposed to be running through our house. I mean, I've got pictures from back in the day when the stream was available, when the stream was there, and now that it's not there because it's being contained by such pipe. That stream has now gone through the path of least resistance, which is underneath my house. And it's coming up.
Why don't you go out there with that?
That's what I was just saying, about coming out there and meet.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we have a make an appointment and
Yeah, we can set
show him
something up
what
with you personally
situation
and
is?
go out. And
I mean, you can't really see the water now that we have the flooring fixed, okay, but if it's clear, it's coming underneath my house and taking away my foundation, there's a big problem there.
Right, and I understand, but what I'm trying to explain to you is if you had the area excavated and that's where they saw the water? I'm just trying to understand how you saw the water underneath the
So in
house.
order for you to waterproof a basement, they have to dig a trench inside of the
Correct.
foundation of the house, correct?
Mhm.
As they're digging that trench, they've noticed that there's a piece underneath the foundation that is missing. That is supposed to be dirt, stone, whatever is supposed to be under there. This specific spot, and this is why my house dips to that corner, that has been washed away. Obviously, this did not happen in one storm. It's
Right.
been happening for a while. It's my understanding that back in the day, there used to be somebody that would go through that pipe and make sure that it was all together. That has not happened in a while, and I can't be the one to say that because I've only lived there for 2 years, but a lot of my neighbors have been there for 20-plus years and know this stuff. They know the history of Hansel Drive, okay? So my question is, I don't know how long that's been going on for. That's concerning to me,
Okay.
okay? Because that's the foundation of my home that we just spent $100K to fix and continue to fix it. And I swear to God, I cannot go through another July 12th storm.
Right. Well, what I could do is, like I said, me personally could come out, show me the area where that corner is, because I've not been on your property. So I'm not sure what the condition is, and we can take a look at that for you.
I mean, like I said, my only answer to that is that the pipe is somehow cracked or leaked or whatever, and that stream is just going that way.
Okay, well, Quentin will make
But we can definitely do that.
We're following up with building and planning. It's already been reported about these trees. This stuff shouldn't be encroaching on your property. So they're going to get a letter and be fined if they don't get this cleaned up. So we'll stay on top of this
Can I ask a further
and
question?
make sure it gets cleaned
please?
up. Yeah.
So when was the citation notice sent, and what's the timeline from the start
I'd
of
have
that
to-
notification to clean up?
I'd have to double check with building planning, because I was not the officer that sent out that violation.
All right, could you please get that information to the residents?
Sure.
And then you mentioned the obstruction at Wendy's. When are you going back to clean that out and work on
We were
it?
going to take a look at that today, but the timing, we just never got to it. So we should have somebody out there tomorrow.
Tomorrow? And will you be able to report an update to the residents on
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I was hoping to see if you'll be available tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I have time tomorrow, so it's up to you or your schedule.
I mean, I have to agree, the urgency here, we know,
Right.
right? But spring is coming.
Right.
And that's a huge concern. That's something that we discussed when we were talking through some of, what our resolution to aid in this. So keeping a tight timeline and please reporting to the residents and providing that information to them, I think would be helpful. So,
From discussions I had with Mr. Farrell, it didn't seem like it was going to give that much time, because we had sent a previous letter out a while ago from our office, and nothing was
Okay.
done. So that's why the citation was being sent out. So it could have been like a week, but I can't confirm.
okay.
Once a while, we'll get
Just
you
as-
first.
It's been a couple months.
Wait,
He hasn't
just
responded
so
to
they
you,
know
and that's
we're
not a
not telling
problem.
what we're doing, we've been working on this.
Right.
We said that if we have to, some way we're gonna fix it and leave the property.
Right. So if they
We're
don't,
not gonna let this go undone.
Right.
They
So-
don't do anything, we're gonna do it.
after the deadline's given, then they file in court. From what the mayor was saying is that at that point, township can have their own crews go in there and cut. And then if need be, from stuff that I've seen out there, I don't know how we're gonna process that to try and modify that basin to kind of do more than what it is right now. So
That's your
not
job,
confirmed.
tell us what has to be done.
Right.
So if they don't clean it up in time, we're gonna have Public Works go out there and
Well, I mean, my
clean it up.
question is, how long do you want me to give you? Because, like I said, spring's around the corner, so, I mean, do you
Right.
need a month for that to be cleaned out? Do you need a week?
I
Do you need
can tell you, like I
6
said, when
months?
I find out tomorrow morning, I'll know what the date is.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
and then there's
information.
that's the starting point, right? So they have how many days from the
From that
date of
letter.
the citation? How many days from the date of the citation did they have to clean it up?
That's what I have to confirm tomorrow. I don't know
Okay.
that off the top of my head.
We have to get through the procedure.
Correct.
They're given so many days to do it. If they don't, we have to do that because that's private property. We cite them, then they go in front of the judge.
And then he extends it.
And if he gives them a few more days. So before we can actually go on there, it could take 3 weeks from the day that we
But I'll know
start.
more, like I said, when I find out the information.
More than that, Your Honor.
Okay, make sure Quentin has your
Yeah, I'll give
name
my
and
call.
contact information so you can make it a point.
Can we make sure that there's not a movement in that stream, that the water might be flowing from
that's what-
somewhere else and
Well,
going
that's all-
under their
I was
house
about to
now?
Contact Public Works in the morning and see when they have a crew available that we can go through and just take a visual examination with us inside. So-
Something sounds not right, so,
Right,
if
exactly.
if there's the stream stocked or blocked someplace else and it's going in their house, that has to be fixed.
Right.
And if Mr. Pandy doesn't want to do it, then we have to do it and get it done for them and lien the property.
Right.
And Quentin has been, I've been talking to Quentin pretty regularly about this. Unfortunately, we had, as the mayor and Mr. Bizo said, they had to go out and see the property and then do the citation. So that takes time. So they have been working on this, trying to do it. Unfortunately, it does take time. It's not as fast as I know we all want it.
I
So-
understand. I'm a very impatient person, so,
Yeah.
and if I have to do something, I do it yesterday.
I understand,
So-
but
and
unfortunately,
unfortunately, that's how I am with everything, with work, with home, and especially with this situation. So if I'm not on top, and I feel like if I hadn't come here, I don't get the answers that I need.
Okay, well, Quentin will meet with you
and-
tomorrow. I'm
and
sorry you had
that's-
to, I'm sorry you had to, you know, we don't mind you being here, but I'm sorry you had to take your time to come here for this. But
No, it's fine. I've got
we
a
are,
couple
we are
other things I
taking
need
care.
to address with you guys.
We are trying to take care of this, and we're gonna get this straightened out. It shouldn't be encroaching on your property and stuff, and it's gonna get cut one way or the other. It'll get taken care of.
I'll get your card, if you don't mind,
Okay.
before we leave.
Is it, do you have anything else, or?
I do, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have a couple more things that I have to address. Unfortunately, Hansel Drive's a big problem nowadays. During the December 6, 2021 budget meeting, you guys briefly discussed plans to start drawing a new storm management on Hansel Drive. You had $4.7 million that was given in federal funds. A portion of these funds was allocated by the township for infrastructure, including storm and sewer repairs, including water retention basins. Where are you guys on those plans?
Is that Quentin's? No, she's asking where we're at.
done with it.
There-
We
there's
have a
suppo-
grant for 4.7 million in infrastructure that passed in the December budget, and they're asking how that money is being utilized. Is it going to help Hansel Drive? What are we going to do on Hansel?
It's my understanding that
Answer that on Hansel Drive. I don't know where that part is in the budget. I don't know what we could do on Hansel Drive, number one, to engineer it, to find out what we could do as far as that goes. Your biggest problem is up top. That's the biggest problem.
Okay, even before we get into that portion, but Hansel Drive was specifically mentioned for the sewer plans. The stormwater plans.
Quentin, can you help me with this?
Mayor, I'll add something. I'll add something too, that I'm not sure the $4.7 million grant regarding that.
But I know that after tomorrow, when Quentin goes out there, he can take a good overview of what's going on, and then we could figure out what kind of drainage needs are necessary, and if there is a grant that, or something in the
Well, we're
budget.
into water. That's a big thing right now.
Right.
We're really into the drainage problem in Bensalem Township. We have some things we're working on that I can't speak of right now, that we're working long-term, so I can't speak on that right now. But we do have some money in drainage that we're working on now. So I don't know what, there's no plan, is what I'm trying to say, for
Right.
Hansel Drive.
I mean, like I said, Hansel Drive was specifically mentioned, that specific meeting that you guys had, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Because as you know, multiple engineers have spoken about how much water Hansel Drive takes on, and that we're not even prepared for a 25-year storm. So times are changing, like we've been hit with 100-year storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, whatever. We got to be ready for the next one, and we're
I
not.
agree with you. I was out with you, and my heart bleeds.
You were in
for
my house.
what you went through. It's incredible.
I believe the 4.7 million grant, I think it's your budgetary number that we gave to your finance director, Mr. Chakowski, last year, in November. And that was based on a lot of drainage issues that we're having around town. One of them was Hansel Drive. I don't know how much money was put for Hansel Drive, but I know it was.
The fact of the matter is, what are we doing at Hansel Drive to be able to spend the money?
Right.
We don't have any.
We don't have any designs yet, no.
That's the
Right.
problem.
That is the problem, exactly. It's been 4 months since that meeting.
How long will it take to get plans for Hansel?
Well, first thing would be, we'd have to examine the situation and do the study. And at that point, get the engineers involved to see what's needed.
What's the timeline?
Phil,
the-
what's the next step
The,
here?
the previous engineer did a drainage plan that we've talked about, and it came up with problems in the area. There was no fixes to the problems, it's just, here's the problems, and it amounted to a significant amount of money on how to fix it. So, right now, the process is that we're gonna evaluate all the problems that are indicated in that plan and prioritize them associated with the budget that we have and/or grants that the township might be seeking for overall stormwater management. So as these things come up, we have issues on Bristol Road, Summers Ave. We have all sorts of areas that are, as we all know, that stormwater is the #1 thing in the township right now. So we don't have the plan for Hansel Drive in hand, but it's certainly something that we are going to address. And, you know, as far as the priority of who gets what and what goes, I mean, we have to determine that based upon what those drainage
We can make
issues
that a
are.
priority, Phil. We talk about this
Absolutely.
every week. We can make it a priority, but we need a plan. What is going to fix the problem? I mean, you're putting a pipe in, we're going to take down houses and make a basin. There has to be a plan.
So we've requested from the previous engineer their files and so forth to determine what that plan is.
Well, I don't want
specific.
them doing it anymore.
Pardon me?
I don't want the previous engineer.
I understand, Mayor. And so it is a priority. That's all I could say. And after Quentin goes tomorrow, we'll have a much better idea of what we have to do. We'll dissect whatever we got from the previous engineer and come up with a solution.
But we've been talking about it. That's my point. This isn't something new.
I think we need to set the bar, and I'm going to keep talking about it, timelines, deadlines. Like, we need, part of a plan is making sure that we reach the goal and we continue to move along. So having a timeline would be appropriate for all of this. I understand we're talking about it, we have some information, we need to reevaluate, we need to do all of these things, but when? You know, we keep talking about it, but we're not saying when we're going to do it by. And if we put a date on it or we give it a timeline, that creates accountability for us. So we need to do that.
I think we can approach specific problems, but generally speaking, the thing we have to contend with is that part of the stormwater management would be, and is supposed to be determined by the development itself. And that not being done, that could be a major part of what's happening also. But specifically, I agree that we have to address the issues which Quentin already said he was doing.
I know that.
And take it from there. You want to address that? What I just
I
said?
definitely do. We can't wait for Armstrong to be constructor or whatever the heck he's doing. We have no idea what his plan is right now. There are rumors going around that he's selling the property. Hansel Drive cannot wait for him again. If he starts to build in 3 years, we're going to wait and then get another
Well,
storm.
I didn't say that, and I agree with you. I did not say that we were waiting for him. I said that was part of the decision-making in terms of, what's being proposed. But I agree that we're not going to wait, but we don't want to duplicate what's going to be done, too.
It's a safeguard at that point, right? His property, as you have said, has nothing to do. I've been told, we've been told, the neighbors on Hansel Drive have been told that whatever happened on that property had nothing to do with that storm. So then why are we waiting for him to do anything as far as drainage is concerned to then address the issues on Hansel Drive that have to do with drainage?
Well, I don't think we are waiting. I'm saying that's part of the process that has to be done also. in the
He's a
total
private
picture.
property, though. That's a different property. That has nothing to do with the street.
Well, I don't think stormwater management has a separation between the properties as opposed to where the water flows. Hansel Drive, as far as I know, and I only know what I learned from here, Stacy would know more about it than I would because I think you lived on that street as far as I recall.
So, yes.
But yeah, I think it has its own history that we have to address, which is what I'm saying that we're going to be doing. Specifically, address those issues is what I had said.
We can't wait for him.
Phil, can
I'm
you-
just going to reiterate that because I feel like we're talking around in circles. What you're saying, what I'm saying, we're not on the same page.
I think we're saying exactly the same thing.
All right,
don't think we
Phil,
are.
can you put this at the top of your list,
You're not-
get this
you're not
done, and
doing
report back to us at the next meeting, and give us the lowdown of where we are and what's going on? That T&M, if T&M has to get something, it's ours, get it, let's get it done, and let's start putting this stuff, get this stuff in the works and get it done.
And if we could have like a preliminary schedule
Yeah.
of deadlines. So, I mean, we have an idea of what the plan is and what that process is going to look like along the way. Can we look at how that's going to make sense? If we have to do step one and it takes 30 days for, legal reasons, then let's just start drawing that timeline out. Please. Thank you.
All right, do you have anything else?
Yes, actually, this is, who gave permission to a survey to come onto our properties and put survey sticks in our front yards? What was that from?
I think we
Survey
addressed
states.
that. You and I had spoken about that, and that was not the township. I did speak to, I think it was either Quentin or Ken, and it was not the township. So I do not know who surveyed, and I do not believe if they're doing a survey, if they were doing a survey of Mr. Pandia's property.
Okay, we
I'm
never
not
got any information that anybody would be on our property to survey anything.
I do not know if that's
And-
required. Is that
They
required?
should,
It might not be-
they should only be in the easement, maybe, like where
No.
they're, okay.
It's actually throughout, all of those houses that lie against that property had survey sticks. I personally threw mine out.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
But-
because the same thing, I have the turnpike behind my house,
Mhm.
and they're putting a lane in and a wall, and surveyors came out and put stakes in, like, near our sidewalk and stuff. My wife thought they were gonna put a wall there, but it was, they staked out front, like, but it was really where the sidewalk and utilities were, and had to do with the turnpike, which didn't make sense to me. It was pretty far away,
I-
but.
Personally, I don't want anybody on my property, especially with the snow there, because if somebody falls, it's my responsibility at that point. But they made it a point to dig holes through everybody's yard to put these survey sticks in without letting anybody know what the heck they were there for. Those are private properties. He has absolutely no right to be on our property, especially him. And yeah, I have a little bit of a grudge against him, so.
Okay.
But I just want to make that clear. I just don't want him on my property without my permission.
When
Yeah, he shouldn't
the
be.
township does something like that, they send a letter out.
Exactly, and that's what I was looking for. That's why I contacted Stacy about it, and she said, listen, we have no recollection of anything that we're doing on that street. I don't know anything about it. So the only other person that could be doing that is the owner of the Armstrong property. I don't want him on my property. So, I mean, not that he cares, because obviously he just does what he wants anyway.
But is there a requirement, if they're going to be doing any survey, that they have to advise, at least put something
Not
on
if
there?
it's in the easement.
If it's within a right-of-way or an easement, for PICO, for the County Water and Sewer Authority, for PennDOT, whoever, and I'm not saying they're there, I'm just saying, if a utility company or a governmental agency has a right-of-way or an easement, then
Can we check with the
technically,
Water
no,
and
they
Sewer?
don't have to.
Can we check with the Water and Sewer Authority? It may be them, because of all the problems there were with the grinder valve or whatever it's called. Can we make sure, see if it's them? And if it is them, they should let the neighbors know that they're doing something on their property too. Is that something we can find out? Would you do that, or would Ken's office do that?
Ken's office can,
Okay, well, we can find out everything. They shouldn't go on your property without your permission. I have an easement through my property for like a drainage thing that I didn't know. I had to like uncover this manhole cover that I apparently covered in the back, and they were walking through my property, but they said they had an easement to do it, but that's,
And that's
I
a
don't know.
utility thing, I understand
Yeah.
that, but these sticks, or whatever you want to call them, they were halfway in our front yard between each house. So I don't think that has anything to do with the easements, especially as far up as it goes. I know there's 2 easements, one on our side, and then one on our neighbor's side. So there's no,
Were they painted or anything, or?
they're just a stick with a
With the
pink
red tape on
little
it?
tape on it.
I have a picture of
And
it.
they were numbered.
Quentin's going to
Okay.
check with Bucks County Water and Sewer and see if they had anything to do with that, because of all the problems they had there. Quentin's going to check on that.
This champion has a picture too, Phil, she can show you the stakes, maybe you can figure out who.
Could be leads to, like,
Water and sewer, like you're speaking about, usually they don't put stakes in there. They'll just
They
build-
were on the corners of the property, they were in between, they weren't like in the middle, where I know on my old house, the sewer line was in the middle. So this was more on the edge of each property line, if I recall correctly. Is that
Okay,
correct?
well,
Yeah.
we'll find out
Sorry,
what
my
we
eyes
can
went.
for you.
Okay. All right, that's it.
Okay. Okay? All right,
Thank you.
thanks for coming out. We'll try to help you the best we can here, all right? All right, is there anybody else that would like to come up for public comment?
Hi, everybody. Colleen Selesky, 2032 Hansel Drive. So I will reiterate about the stormwater because I am on my second patio out back that's being undermined. I step on my patio that I just had installed 2 years ago and it's hollow. Like, that's how much the water just runs through our yards. Quentin has been out to my house multiple times for stormwater management and has never done nothing. So a timeline would be great, so I really hope that they stick to it. Serving him a citation, which we were told last meeting that they already did, so what is that timeline? When do we force them to pay up, clean up, take care of the property? He has yet to do so. So timelines would be great. Thank you.
Okay. You like to come forward? Yeah.
Hi, Teresa Crowley, 184 Taylorsville Road, Washington Crossing, PA 18977. As you all know, I sit on these meetings. I have my mother, my kids, the school. I'm involved with certain things here, and I usually sit in. Ironically, I didn't know this is coming up today, and ironically, I said something to Joe how I do watch meetings on YouTube to keep involved, and how I actually had to turn it off at one point. The one part that I had turned it off at and I didn't follow through, and the young lady mentioned it, which I had a question for you, where the developer had talked about putting the gas station on the property. What happened with that? I'm not understanding why, because we have multiple gas stations along Street Road, and with electric cars coming up, I think it'd be more feasible to put where the power charging stations, and it'd be, as far as the residents that live in that neighborhood, they'd have a better time, with selling their home rather than having a gas station there, with the values and having to do the resale. So what happened with that? Is that, I haven't been paying attention, like I said, is he going to put a gas station? I know the language was whoever buys the property or whatever, he's leaving that space open, they could put a gas station there. What is?
Well, I think it was a convenience store that could have a gas station. They probably could have they probably would have electrical plugs too.
Well, I'm just saying, if we could push for, that's where we're going. We're being pushed in that direction to do electric cars. The writing's on the wall right now. So I'm feeling maybe we can, no to the gas station. Like, you can put a convenience car, but just no.
He already has permission to put a
He has permission. That's why I want to know what the permission was.
Yeah, that was part of it.
Wow, okay.
Okay, but they
Thank
do
you.
have the Tesla things at some of the convenience stores. They have the Tesla chargers there. So that would be,
It's just hard
I'm sure they would switch to that point.
as
They would put more
as
and more.
one profession that I'm in to have somebody's house next to a gas station, this resale value, and it's just, I don't know, not people.
Okay.
All right, I didn't know. I was curious to know. Stop looking at me like that. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Okay, thank you. All right. Other business? Oh, somebody else? Okay. Another person.
You're up late tonight, Michael.
Just getting off work, Mayor.
Oh, that's what I mean. Gotta get your sleep.
Okay, Mike, can you say who you are? And your-
Yeah, Michael Nush, 143 Tatum Road. I'm in the Belmont Ridge section.
Okay.
Basically, just want to just ask about a follow-up on our discussion that we had in June. I know there's two new ladies, congratulations to be on the board. Back in June, you were not present, but we had an issue that the mayor knows and the rest of the board about an ordinance about the waste haulers picking up trash 3, 4 in the morning, 5. And in June, that was brought up in discussion, and I thought something was going to get done, but nothing did. So let's fast forward to September, the meeting. I was not present, but a councilman was present and asked the question, Mr. Pizzo, if anything has been, any progress on that. And Mr. Pizzo stated that they were working on it and hopefully something by the end of the year. That was last year, so we're into December now. So nothing's been done. and that's the reason why I'm like here today, is I just want to follow up on that, and also I can give the board some information if you don't already know. I'll discuss that in a little bit. So I guess my question is to Mr. Pazzo, if anything's been done about that. The
So I
ordinance.
thought that was addressed, and they weren't able to do that 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, they are.
They're still doing it?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Officer McVeigh set up he kind of helped out a little bit. He looked into it, and there's 2 ordinances currently. That one is a noise ordinance, which they are violating, but there also is a trash ordinance. Waste haulers are not supposed to be picking up commercial waste before 6 a.m. It's an established ordinance. Well, back last year, nobody even said about this ordinance. So we've been dealing with it for like 2 years now, on and off. Last Friday, Officer McVeigh had a couple officers stationed at where the main problem is, up in the Chamonix Mall behind the one shopping center, the PennDOT driving center there. And what happened was he basically gave out 2 separate citations, the officers did. One to waste management. One that was at 4 something in the morning. Don't quote me on it. You can ask him about it, or the officers that did the citation. And also there was one at 5, and he was actually shocked. He's like, not only 1 but 2. So it's still been continuing. Another issue too is, I'm not going to mention the lady's name, but she's over by Andalusia, and she posted on a couple of the Facebook forums that she was having an issue with the dumpsters being picked up or emptied, and her house, I guess, is right near there. And this was Andalusia beer at 4:30 every morning. This has been going on for a year now. She didn't know who to turn to, so she put a comment in one of the forums and basically said, listen, is there an ordinance or what's going on here? Because I've been dealing with this for over a year now. Every day, the same day during the week, they would pick up trash at 4:30 a.m. And she's like, I can't even keep my windows open. She goes, it's, the weather's going to be nice soon. And she goes, I have kids. It's just not fair. And I'm like, well, she reached out to me and excuse me, a couple other people, and in turn, I think, I don't quote me on this, but I believe she tried to contact Margie Knowles in the township. I don't know if she did or not, but this is what we were experiencing. So,
well, if we
go
get
ahead.
that complaint, they're going to have to deal with that. Ken's office is going to have to deal with that. But we did give citations to the people who were breaking the law behind the Chamonix Mall Shopping Center, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, there was 2 citations that were written this past, like I said, March 4th.
Well, can Mr. Pizzo answer your question about?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Mr. Pizzo, is there anything happening that we need to know?
Well, consistent with what you've just said, Mr. Knowles, and I take exception to the suggestion that nothing's been done, quite the contrary. We looked into it, and as Mr. Nush properly states, the ordinances that are in place currently don't allow for the haulers to be picking up at that hour. So it's purely an enforcement issue. Complaints have been made, and apparently the township police have gone out and cited. So just like any other violation of any other ordinance, people need to report it to the building and planning or to the police, and they'll go out and they'll cite and they'll enforce. But we have ordinances on the books that currently regulate when you can put a trash can to the curb, when you can't, when the trash truck can pick something up and when it can't. They're all already on the books.
If they're breaking the law, then we have to fine them.
I understand
So then
that.
for the residents, what's the recourse then? Should they be contacting the police department non-emergency line to file a complaint?
Or building and planning so that they can contact the haulers to say, you can't be going out and picking up at Andalusia Beer at 4:30 in the morning. And if you are, we're going to have somebody there every morning at 4:30 to cite you.
I think what Mr. Pazio just said certainly makes sense, to have the building and planning office send out a letter to all the haulers and tell them this is the law, you're violating law, we're going to be citing your trash trucks unless you continue, and if you continue doing that, and the times are, I think it's 6 a.m. or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could proactively send a letter to each of them and remind them that there is an ordinance and they can't.
Yes,
do it.
I think that was brought up at the last meeting in June.
Yeah.
And, well, there's two issues here. One is the communication. Now, I'm going to say communication, I'm going to use that vaguely because the mayor knows. I've been in contact with him quite often about this issue, and it's been going on 2 years now. And I've tried to do things on my own with the help of another councilman and some of the neighbors, because it becomes a safety issue also, which I want to touch on. So the first issue is communication. Like, I'm not going to sway the topic here, but I'm patient, meaning like, if I'll send an email to the mayor's office, and, I know it goes through administration, and, I'm not going to mention any names, but sometimes it becomes stagnant there. What I mean by stagnant is it's either not read, or I don't get a return email saying, oh, we're looking into it. Excuse me?
We get all of your emails, we understand what's going on up there, and what we try to do is enforcement. We tell the police, we tell them, please catch these guys. Other than going up there, I don't know how else to do it. It's enforcement. It takes enforcement, and we try to do that with our police.
Why is it that these companies, certain ones, once again, I'm not going to deviate, but right now it seems to be one major trash hauler that just doesn't care.
Well, and we sent letters to all the trash haulers, to the companies, that what they're supposed to do, not what we have to enforce it. That's all that the police have to go
They'll
up
care
there.
they keep getting fined. They're not going to want to keep getting fined. I mean, I would think that they're going to care at some point.
They've been fined plenty of times. They have been.
Well, is the fine enough? Like what's being, I just don't understand how this can just keeps continuing. Honestly, let's use this scenario here, okay? Say it stops for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Waste Management, I'm going to use them because they're the main culprit here. So what happens in another, month when 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, I'm woken up by this giant bang, and I know where it's coming from, but I have no way to prove it. So we all know it's Waste Management. We know the dumpsters are labeled Waste Management. The police have caught them. So what am I supposed to do? Get up, pick up the phone, and call 911 and say, hey, listen, this is Mike Dush. I'm at 143 Tatum. I'm at my house, but the dumpster just got, emptied and woke me up at 4:30 in the morning. And then them say, okay, well, we'll handle it. Meaning like what? They're going to do a report? Is it going to go back to Waste Management? This is my concern because it's been going on for 2 years now.
For 2 years we've been doing it. We've been back and forth on this. What do you think? We want to let them go up there and get
No, I don't. And but that's
You have to report.
Do I need to go
You don't have to do it
police it?
4:30 in the morning, but you have to, during the call, and say it happened again, give the date and the time, and then we'll have to send the
I've
police.
been doing
Yeah,
that.
and-
The mayor knows.
Well, they just got fined again, right? So we'll just keep having to do it.
Well, I don't know about the previous ones because I wasn't present for that. I mean, I was present when I was up there with another resident in my development, a councilman, and another resident that lives right next to me. So we had 3 people up there, and Waste Management went up there, do at Neshaminy Mall, they didn't care. They went up there. They were stopped. They were notified. This is like probably the 3rd or 4th time. Now, I'm just a resident, okay? I have no power. So what happened was we called 911, and the police came, okay? I don't know if a citation was written because then I left. They weren't able to pick up the dumpster or empty the dumpster, and I got a lot of grief from the driver. Now, the other issue is, are residents supposed to police this themselves? Meaning, okay, you know PennDOT, right? The driving center. You know back there it's real dark. There's no lights. Okay, so is a resident supposed to go back there and the trash truck comes and then approach the vehicle not knowing? This is a safety issue also.
First, I want to say we do have a non-emergency line. 911 should not be used for a matter such as this. You can report it. You can do a roll call, ask them to come out during those certain times when you're experiencing that issue so that somebody is present and enforcing it. But I do have a question about the fines. So let's say they are culprits, right? They're doing this multiple times. So are they getting fined $100 every time? Or are we escalating the cost of the fines as they continue to disregard the ordinance?
The ordinance does have escalating. It doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, it's like when you go through a red light or you go through, there's certain.
It's just a standard
Yeah.
fee, but there's not, see, so what I'm saying is that there'd be some encouragement if they were gonna have to continue to pay more and more fines,
For a
and the
second
fines
or
get
third
heftier.
violation, yeah.
So if you have a first offense versus second, third, fourth
Let
offense.
me tell you what the real issue is, okay? The real issue is the trash companies. Number one, they can't get help. Number two, they're going out there when they can, and they think they can get away with it. That's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of the situation, and they're doing it because they can get the trash picked up. We can keep citing them, and we're going to keep citing them. That's all we can do. I don't know what else you can do other than take their trash
They were
truck.
using COVID as an excuse to say
And I
that their
think
labor force
the
was low.
owners of those stores
That was my
they
question.
have a responsibility.
Oh, I agree 100%. Actually, that was one of my last points, is maybe we need to, like, I know Mr. Pizzo has been working on it and whatnot, but maybe the fines, I don't know what they are. I don't know if I'm privileged to that, and I don't really care, but maybe, like, if it's $500 first offense, maybe second time, bump it up 1,000. Maybe third offense. The township is always asking for ways to make, alleviate little problems like this, because I'm kind of embarrassed, really, to be up here talking about this when we have a war going on. These people over here had drainage issues, which I've experienced, and here I'm talking about freaking dumpsters being picked up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I wouldn't want to be woken up like that
It's
either.
stupid. It really is. The bottom line is, this issue is so stupid. So a couple suggestions were made, which, Mayor, you hit it on the head. Yeah, these people, you're doing your part, finding them, up the fines. Make it so when they get a fine, they're just like, we're not going to do it again. Maybe find the company, the businesses that have waste management. And, it's probably not right for me to keep on using them as an example, but they're the main culprits here. They just don't seem to care. We had a council person last year on the board that knew some people in waste management. And actually, they were in contact with them because some of the waste management executives, I guess they want to do business in Bensalem, so they were like, oh yeah, we'll do this, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? When this council person called them and said, hey, you're violating the ordinance here, and, can you stop? And we stopped probably about 5 of them up in that Neshaminy Mall vicinity. And, the drivers were like, well, we didn't know, we understand you don't know because you're just getting your directive from home base. But where are the managers and the executives that know about this and just continually to be like, well, you know what, we don't really care. You just pick up the trash whenever you want. Because they did nothing.
Just, Mr. Pizzo, can we take a look at the ordinance and see if maybe we can add the businesses that have these repeat offenders on there and also find them, and maybe it'll force them to go and find a different company that's going to live up to what they're supposed to do and the times they're supposed to do?
You just said it right there. Hold them responsible. If they want to continue to use waste management and you're fining them, like, I believe you, Mayor. I know you've been working on it because we've talked many a times. And I know you're doing your part. But the problem is, like I said, like Fred Herron came right out and told me. He's like, Mike, they don't care. They'll pay the fine. It's easier for them to pay the fine. I'm thinking like, well, that makes no sense today. Because first off, like Officer McVeigh, when they got 2 of them, he was shocked. Director McVeigh, I'm sorry. And I would like to thank the police department and him before I forget, because they did a great job and helped us out. But Director McVeigh and Fred, I'm going to quote Fred last year saying to me, Mike, they don't care. They'll pay the fine.
We're going to look at the ordinance and see whether the suggestion is one that business owners could be responsible, and also if we can escalate the fines to a point where they will start caring.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They were using COVID as an excuse that, which may have been true their labor force. They couldn't find labor, and they had no choice.
Listen, I agree with you 100%.
It's not a good excuse. I know
They shouldn't be picking up trash at 3 in the morning.
Hopefully, they shouldn't be doing that.
Just picture yourself all of a sudden the dumpster banging and like a boom, like you think you're at war, and then you're woken up and your days. I got to get up for work in the morning. I know everybody does. It's not all about me here. There's a
I've
lot
been
of residents.
I've been waiting for a sound wall for the turnpike for 15, 20
Yeah.
years now, so motorcycles on the turnpike wake me up 3 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, you could deal with certain things, but like I said, and then if you, like the lady in Andalusia was saying, she goes, Mike, I can't even open up my window. And then her kids get woken up. I mean, it's just not
Okay,
fair,
well,
you know?
if she complains, we'll take care of that for her.
Well, I think she ended up, to be honest with you, talking to the owner at the Andalusia Beer, and he kind of was going to take care of it. But that's
Okay,
what needs
good.
to be done. Like, Mr. Pilari, you just said it. You know, hold the businesses accountable if Waste Management or any other ones just want to continue with this and ignore it. Because that's what they've seemed to have been doing this is going on 2 years now.
Okay,
And like I
so-
said, you know, I don't want to have to run over here, you know, after work to attend a meeting to bring this up. But once again, Mr. Pizzo, if you recall in June, you said to me, back then, you shouldn't have to wait, you know, whatever, 4 months, 6 months to attend a board meeting to have, you know, this issue kind of looked into or resolved. So that's what I'm asking. Basically, Mayor, you said it, Mr. Pilari said it, just tighten up the rules and regulations.
Yeah, we got to put some meat in the bone.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming out. Is there anything else, or?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for
all
your
right.
time.
All right. Okay, anybody else from public? Seeing no one else come forward? You're shaking your head no, right? Okay, okay. Then we'll end public comment. Is there any other business that anybody has? Phil, do you have anything? Deb, do you have anything for us, or? Mr. Pizzo, do you have anything?
Nothing more, thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Mayor, do you have anything you'd like to add?
For all my Irish friends, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Exactly.
Even you're Irish for the day, right?
His wife is.
Yep.
I am Irish.
No, your wife's Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Michelle, do you have anything you need to add?
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day, and thank you all for coming out tonight. That's it. Enjoy and be safe.
Okay. Stace, do you have anything? Ms. Champion?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, and hopefully people got to see the parade yesterday. We had quite a few kids from Bensalem Township that performed in the parade, inclusive of my own, but we had Celtic Flame, some kids from Emerald Isle School of Irish Dance, Rinkaree, and Emerald Isle and Rinkaree both won awards.
And Crossroads was there.
And Crossroads, I did see
Yeah.
Crossroads there too.
My niece was there.
And Rinkaree won the James F. Cawley Parade Director Award. So I believe that is Lieutenant Governor Cawley's father, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it is?
And
Oh, wow.
so he was a parade director, so yes. Yes.
Oh, was he? Wow, that's great.
Yes, so I just want to do a shout out to all the kids that did an amazing job yesterday. And Steam Fitters was there, and there was people from Bensalem in that group too. So everybody came out to the parade yesterday downtown. It was a great day. It was cold, but it was wonderful. And have a safe St. Patrick's Day.
Mr. Polari, do you have anything?
Ditto, and I have nothing else, thank you.
Mr. Kisbeck?
I agree with everything that Stacy just said.
It was a great day.
It was a great
Fun.
day.
It was wonderful to,
Yeah, I would like to wish
Submit people
everybody a
around.
happy St. Patrick's Day, and also the 17th is St. Joseph's Day for all the Josephs up
19th.
here. No, the 17th.
No, 17th is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, it is the 19th, you're right, I'm sorry.
I said 19.
All right, you're right.
He's right.
I ought to know.
I'm lucky your wife's Irish, I wouldn't have known that. But anyway, yeah, the 19th, the 17th. Okay, the 19th is St. Joseph's Day. So I used to get a couple bucks off my Uncle Joe from Connecticut every year, so. But our next meeting would be the 28th, right? March 28th. Okay, if there's anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. There's a second?
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned. Okay, thank you.